Is a postseason ban coming for Michigan for Spygate? We'll decipher what we know right here on Locked On Big Ten.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman, coming up on 40 years as a sports talk show host and a play-by-play announcer. And I want to thank you for making us your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. So, Michigan, Spygate, it's coming again. Here we are. Plus, Rutgers playoff team, we kind of started that. Now people are following in line. Plus, our power rankings, top 25 college football. How many Big Ten teams do I have in there? I'm going to tell you it's a lot, so hang tight for that. But Michigan Spygate, all right, it's been in the news for a long time. It's been in the news more lately. It is being reported that the actions of former Michigan staff member Connor Stalions could cost the Wolverines a postseason ban as punishment from the NCAA. Now, even though Jim Harbaugh and Stalions are long gone, it seems that the NCAA is still coming after Michigan. Chris Ballas of the Wolverine says a notice of allegations could come from the NCAA this week. That's what's starting all this. Plus, there's something going on Netflix we've told you about. We'll get back to that in a moment regarding Conner Stalions. The Wolverines would reportedly receive a level 1 violation for an off-campus in-person scouting operation, which was allegedly led by Conner Stalions. We've talked about this about 20 times since last November. It's been out there. Of course, he was a former staff assistant with Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines. Also, 2 additional staffers reportedly committed level 2 violations for giving what was at the time impermissible benefits to players. Now, go back in time, this podcast last November, we talked about this at length. Remember, the Big Ten, in our opinion, really rushed to judgment. And it's Tony Petitti. And he suspended Harbaugh for the final 3 games of the 2023 season before any evidence really rolled in. I mean, there was evidence, and it was all pointed to Connor Stalions. We don't know how much, if any, pointed to Jim Harbaugh back then. It didn't seem like any did. So, but Tony Petitti, new commissioner, he even said there wasn't any evidence pointing toward Jim Harbaugh. Connor Stalions said Jim Harbaugh knew nothing of what was going on at the time. But according to most of the conferences, ADs, and coaches on separate conference calls, they said something, anything had to be done to Jim Harbaugh, and the hammer fell on Harbaugh for the last 3 games of the season. You all know this. So back then, Conner Stalions, again, saying that he acted alone, kind of exonerating anybody else from his involvement in Spygate. But I'll be curious. Maybe you will be too. If that's still his story, we're going to find out soon because Netflix is coming out with his story in August. And I'll be curious if his story now matches what he said last year and also if it matches the NCAA findings after investigating all this time. And again, I'll be interested if the latter is the case regarding what Stalions said, that Harbaugh still knew nothing. And if that's the case, then there's no way the NCAA can drop a postseason ban on Michigan, right? If everything points to Conner Stalions and nothing points to Harbaugh or anybody else on his staff or at Michigan, I don't see any way they could come down with a ban. I don't. And by the way, if a notice of allegation comes, I don't think there'll be this week a punishment attached to it now, like some people are insinuating. I think that comes later. I'm going off memory off of Burgergate and how all that worked, by the way. So what would happen if the notice came down, then Michigan would have 90 days to respond, and then the NCAA would have another 60 days to respond to Michigan's response. That would take us to the end of December, and the 2024 season would be a wrap. So before we land anywhere definitive, that's how it would play out. And I would expect Michigan to take this matter to court at that point at the end of this year, going into next year, and drag this thing even further as it plays out. So this definitely won't affect the 2024 college football season coming up, nor with this, according to reports, would it affect Michigan's national championship or their wins over the past 3 years. Again, if there is no evidence to take those wins away, then is there enough evidence to go ahead and give Michigan a postseason ban? I don't know. You tell me. Until we have further details, it's all speculation at this point, and at some point, common sense. Even NCAA President Charlie Baker is on record saying that Michigan's record and national championship is not tainted following Spygate. Everything's legitimate. Everything's good. So if the evidence shows the Stalions acted alone, then maybe the NCAA lays down a show cause penalty on Stalions, effectively ending his ability to ever be on the sideline and coach again. Maybe they'll try and punish Harbaugh in some way, because it seems like that's what they want to do. They want to get Harbaugh on something, but he's gone, so it doesn't matter. He's never coming back. But regarding a postseason ban, the NCAA is very inconsistent and lately seems to shy away from handing those out now, because it just punishes too many people who weren't involved with any of these items that the NCAA is investigating. Some of their postseason bans, they seem to be ridiculous. I'm thinking, I know if you're an Ohio State fan, you're thinking the Jim Tressel tattoo gate, memorabilia gate. What did that come to, like $14,000 worth of memorabilia and tattoos? They got a postseason ban. There was Penn State, right? Coming after the Jerry Sandusky sexual assault case. There was a ban there. That should have been, right? More recently, in 2023, Tennessee avoided a bowl ban. I think the NCAA sometimes feels like it goes too far. And so then Tennessee had the Jeremy Pruitt recruiting scandal. They didn't want to penalize Josh Heupel and the new kids, and they didn't want them to inherit a ban from something that happened before they got there. So your guess is as good as mine with what kind of evidence the NCAA has and what they will do with it and what kind of ban they may put forth, or no ban, or whatever the case may be. But the story is out there that there is going to be a postseason ban up to 1 to maybe 2 seasons, but it won't be here. So it won't be 2024. We're talking December 2025, December 2026, if they do an up to two-year postseason ban for Michigan, if that is the case. All right. There are other things they could do. They could do scholarship reductions, but those don't matter anymore. You can tell, the scholarship reduction, take away 10 scholarships. Guess what? We just do name, image, and likeness. You can pay for your own education. Boom. Doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't carry any weight. It's a whole new thing now with scholarships. So, we have no idea what the NCAA is going to do. And at this point, maybe Michigan doesn't either, but we'll all find out soon enough. Love to hear from you. I already know how the comments are going to go. Michigan fans going to defend, saying we didn't do anything. Ohio State fans going to call Michigan a bunch of cheaters. And you all could go back and forth on the comments on YouTube, because that's what you do. It's going to happen. By the way, be sure to subscribe if you are a fan, you tune in, you like what you see. Always love to hear from you, but it really would help us if you would just subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you any money, any personal information. You just click a button. You're subscribed. You're good. You get notified if you want. Every time this podcast comes out, first thing in the morning on audio only podcast, by the way, 4 a.m. Eastern. Video comes out at 6 a.m. Eastern every day. But tell your Big Ten friends about us. Word of mouth is great. And we're pushing toward 10,000 subscriptions. We started with 1,200 when we took over this channel last summer. And here a little more than a year later, our goal is 10,000 before the start of the college football season. We're at like 9,500. Thanks to you. All right. Meantime, everything's on our website, all of our podcasts chronologically, and we group them by school as well. So we're talking about Michigan today. We're going to talk about Rutgers in a minute. We'll put these under the Michigan and Rutgers file as well, so they're easy to find. And while you're there, get some merchandise for your favorite school, Michigan, Rutgers, whoever you root for. Get ready for the upcoming 2024 college football season with shirts, hats, pennants, coffee mugs, all right there on our website, Talk Big 10. That's the number 10, talkbig10.com. And you can help yourself get ready for the upcoming season. All right. In addition to that, I hinted we're going to talk about Rutgers because we did their season preview last week. And they've got a good team. And we told you how with their schedule, they can rack up a lot of wins. We kind of led the curve on that because now, a week later, a bunch of pundits are out there saying, hey, Rutgers is good. Even one of them says it could be a dark horse playoff team. Who is that? All that coming up right here on Lockdown Big Ten. You want to go to games? Use Game Time. Use the Game Time app to get tickets for anything. Major League Baseball for the rest of the summer. Big Ten football coming up in the fall. Absolutely everything. Just go to your Game Time app, have it downloaded on your phone. You're ready to go. My favorite feature is you could see a view from the seat of the ticket you're about to buy before you buy it. I like that. That's very cool. So, and they always have last minute deals. You know, the secret is a lot of times you get closer to first pitch or kickoff, prices go down. That actually can go down. So check it all out with Game Time. They got the last minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, all of that right there. Take all the guesswork on buying tickets, whether it's Major League Baseball, Big Ten football with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and the redeem code LOCKEDONCollege, LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. That's right. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Factor meals. Don't you hate at the end of the day talking to your spouse? What do we got for dinner? Well, I don't know. We don't have any food in the refrigerator. We got to go grocery shopping. We're tired of the same old fast food. Factor meals. Get your meals and handle all your wellness goals at the same time for the rest of the summer. They got these great menu of chef crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, never frozen meals, dietitian approved, ready to eat in just 2 minutes. You have like 35 different meals and like 60 add-ons with it as well. Bunch of flavors to explore. It is awesome. And you can treat yourself here. Keep kitchen time to a minimum. High quality stuff, filet mignon, shrimp, blackened salmon. So Factor Meals, go to factormeals.com. It's factormeals.com/LockedOnCollege50. LockedOnCollege50, the number 50. Use the code LockedOnCollege50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. Again, that's the code LockedOnCollege50 at factormeals.com/LockedOnCollege50. Get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Again, with Factor Meals. Well, thank you everybody for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen each and every day, especially you everydayers out there. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, be sure to subscribe on YouTube and share and follow and like Locked On Big Ten, your team every day. And don't forget to check out our website, talkbig10.com. All right. So a few days ago, we looked at Greg Schiano's football program at Rutgers and their upcoming 2024 season. This is a good team, and they have a favorable schedule. There's no Michigan, there's no Ohio State, there's no Penn State on this schedule. Great. I mean, they've had to play them every year. They've been in the same division, right? That division's gone. So are those opponents this year. Plus, they returned to Big Ten's leading rusher in Kyle Monangai. It's a very solid team. A lot of starters coming back. This is a team that won 6 regular season games last year. And again, that's while playing in the Big Ten East. And they won a 7th game by beating Miami in the Pinstripe Bowl. So good team coming back. Given the talent base and the easier schedule, we suggested that this team could very easily win. Now, keep in mind, Vegas had them at 5.5 wins for the year, and they upped it to 6.5. They should have upped it more. We think with this schedule with this team, they could win 8. They could win 9. And if everything goes perfect, they could win 10. There we say. Now, they get 10. That's a whole different category. It's a whole different conversation. What others are starting to catch on as they get ready for the college football season. Even Kirk Herbstreit went on the Pat McAfee show. And he said Rutgers is a dark horse for a playoff team out of the Big Ten to keep an eye on. Where do you get that from? Well, I said, I'm not going to take, I am going to take credit. Of course I am. Greg Schiano famously said at the Big Ten days in Indianapolis last week, he didn't come to Rutgers just to go to a bowl game. He's got higher aspirations, came to win a championship. Schiano and his staff have done a wonderful job taking kids from the New Jersey and New York area, and they're staying home, they're going to Rutgers. So, and Schiano says, look, he doesn't look at local recruiting rankings or anything like that. He looks for local kids who will be the right fit. It's a cultural fit is more important to him than rankings. Now, that doesn't mean he has less talented kids on his team. He's had and has NFL talent on his roster. But one thing that he noticed is that this used to be a coach-led team. He says now it's a player-led team. Leadership, ownership, buy-in, total buy-in. So if Rutgers is that successful this year, they very well may end up winning a lot of games, and they'll get noticed. And if they get ranked, they got a streak that's the longest in college football out of all the Power 5, now Power 4 teams. They have the Scarlet Knights of the longest streak. They haven't been ranked in the top 20, the AP top 25 since the final week of 2012. That's the longest streak in college football. They pulled up at 22nd in the rankings that year. It's been 182 weeks since then. And that number's running each week. So we'll see how long it takes them to crack the top 25 this year. Rutgers has 134 players at camp right now. They had 18 freshmen that were early enrollees. Were in time for spring ball. Got another 17 that have just arrived. There are also 17 players on the roster that are wide receivers. That's a big number to sort through. One to keep an eye on is Monmouth transfer Demir Miller, who's the leading receiver in FCS. We'll see how he does at the next level in the Big Ten. Christian Dremel is the leading returning receiver this year, 36 catches, 468 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Ian Strong cracked the lineup as a freshman last year. He's looking to up his game this season. So Schiano hopes to get these 17 receivers down to about 7 or 8 manageable guys. There'll also be a new face throwing them the football. Minnesota transfer, Ethan Kaliak-Manis. He came in very experienced, and he beat Gavin Wimsett in spring football for the QB1 job. Wimsett left, Kaliak-Manis putting down roots. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, Rutgers has 9 of their 11 starters back from a defense that ranked in the top 25 last year. You see what I'm saying here? It's a good football team. They've got depth, and other guys have logged playing time, so a lot of experience on defense. Rutgers opens up the regular season August 29th to host Howard, followed by Akron, and the first road date is September 21st. Now, that's coming off a bye. Going early bye, going into that first road game against Virginia Tech. They could be 3-0 before welcoming new Big Ten foe Washington, coming all the way across the country to Piscataway to close out the month of September. Then we'll see if they're ranked in the top 25. Hey, do you watch a lot of daytime talking head TV, FS1, ESPN, all that? Do you find it irritating, or do you like it? I don't know. I got another option for you here. Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app that we're very fond of. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Since we've been talking about teams toying with the playoffs and AP top 25 rankings and all that stuff, it's the middle of the week. You know what we like to do? We like to put together our own power rankings. So I figured, all right, let's do our own college football top 25. And let's see how many Big Ten teams I put in there. I'm gonna warn you ahead of time. I put a lot in there. I expect a lot out of the Big Ten this year. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Big Ten. Passion, drive, and patience. It's the winning formula for championships. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need and all the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. All right, it is time for our midweek power rankings. We're going to put it on the screen here. This is our own college football top 25. See how many Big Ten teams we have at preseason. Okay, and if you're on audio only, I'll describe what we see here on video for those of you checking us out on YouTube as well. So here we go, full screen. Start off with the first half, if you will. And a lot of preseason polls have Georgia number one. I do not. I have the Ohio State Buckeyes. This is not a homer Big Ten pick. Listen, this is the best team money can buy. And that's not a cheap shot. They have figured out nil. They have spent $20 million on this roster this year in nil money. They got that dialed in. I don't have the figure for Georgia. I'm sure it's high, but I'm going to go Ohio State number one, Georgia 2, Texas 3, Quinn Ewers and company, Steve Sarkisian. They're ready to go. They remember last year. They want to make a run for this championship. I got Oregon. Dan Lanning, welcome to the Big Ten. You're going to be number 4 in the country, according to our power rankings right away. And then Alabama at number 5. I got the Penn State Nittany Lions at number 6. This is going to be a big year for James Franklin and Drew Aller. I think they are a playoff team. I do. Notre Dame at number 7. I got Oklahoma, brand new to the SEC. It feels a little high, but I got them at 8. Got Tennessee at 9, also the SEC, and Auburn 10. Got 3 SEC teams rounding out my top 10. And then we start right back up with Missouri. Florida State out of the ACC. We'll see how they do with DJ, a quarterback, at number 12. And I got the Michigan Wolverines at number 13. I know Wolverine fans can think that's too low. Let's see what we got. All right. Let's see what we got coming back from that championship team where everybody's gone. All right, here's the next round. It is backloaded with Big Ten. I'll explain myself in a moment. I've got LSU at number 14. Got a new coach at Texas A&M at number 15. Clemson, Dabo. Every time I hear Dabo talking, he's complaining about the way college football is. Remember when he said, the minute we start paying kids, I'm out of here? He's still here. I don't think he enjoys everything that's going on in college football right now. Unlike a guy like Brett Bielema at Illinois, who just led Big Ten media days by going, you know what? I got to recruit like crazy at high school and transfer portal and keep kids and name, image, and likeness. And I love it. I'm all about it. I'm here for it. Let's go. Dabo kind of feels the opposite of that to me. But anyway, sitting here at number 16, Ole Miss, number 17. I could put them higher, by the way, Ole Miss. I have bigger expectations for them. Kansas at 18. All right, now we start a little Big Ten run. I got Nebraska at number 19. They could go higher. Southern Cal, Miller Moss. I mean, these two teams, Nebraska and USC, they got 2 new quarterbacks. You got Nebraska with Dylan Raiola, 5-star freshman. USC, Miller Moss, who's got 1 game under his belt, even though it was an incredible 6-touchdown game in the Holiday Bowl. Auburn at 21. I got Miami at 22. Cam Ward. Maybe they'll be higher. Maybe. And then, look, I want Iowa and Rutgers in my top 25 because I think they will get there. They'll flirt with that. They'll be in and out. I got them there, 23 and 24. And I decided to put Washington at 25. Washington's the biggest mystery to me out of all the teams in the Big Ten. By the way, this week, Friday, is the official welcome to the Big Ten day for the 4 new teams from the West Coast, including Washington. Next week here on Locked On Big Ten, we will preview all 4 of their seasons and kind of really get into it. And again, Washington's the mystery team. They're like Michigan, completely brand new team, but probably still good, like Michigan. So there we have it. You can argue with that all you want. Comments on Twitter, X at Talk Big Ten number 10, also on YouTube as well. Let's go back and forth there. And don't forget our website, talkbig10.com. So there you have it. Our top 25 as we have it. Again, I just gave you the ways to reach out to us at Twitter and YouTube and our website as well. And I hope you do reach out, and I hope you do go back and forth and have some fun. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe. Just click it. That's all. No money, no information, nothing. And then you and I, we're in the Big Ten loop every day in our push to 10,000 subscribers before the start of the season. You can follow this podcast right now on your favorite podcast app, and you'll get the latest episode of Locked On Big Ten as soon as it becomes available each and every day. Invite you to watch another episode of Locked On Big Ten after this one. Go back to back. Catch up on something you missed last week, perhaps. We're going to keep moving forward, getting closer to the season. Teams are at practice now. We got an eye on everything. It's all college football right here for the Big Ten on Locked On Big Ten. When you're done with us, and after you've subscribed, and after you've watched another episode, and after you've told your best friend and your family member who's a Big Ten alum that we're out here every day, check out our other friends from Locked On, the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today, here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. So go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe there to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. I'm sure you will enjoy it. That's it. I always appreciate your time. Thanks for visiting us today. And I can't wait until we talk again tomorrow. I'm Craig Sheeman for Locked On Big Ten. See you then.